numb to it at this point. Doors open and close during the middle of the night. Our alarm system will go off without anyone typing in the code during the middle of the night. My mom will wake up with scratches on her chest and arms that she says burns, but we don't have any animals inside. My 3-year-old brother refuses to go into my sister's room because he says that there's a mean old man in there. The thermostat will randomly change temperatures, and the wiring has been completely redone. And as before, constant whistling, and only during the middle of the night. Because we live in a small town and everybody knows everybody, we started asking around. About a year ago, we had come to find out that my sister's friend and her family used to live in our house, and that they moved out right away after their grandfather died. His family had said he died in his room, which was the last room in the hallway to the right, which is now my sister's room. Over the years, we've told my mom and dad that we need to have the house blessed and cleansed, but they don't want to upset the spirit. I mean, if you feel uneasy at your house, I think seek a professional. I do not want anything to harm you guys, because your mom's already waking up with scratches, and then the code of your guys' house is getting unlocked. Like, that is dangerous now at that point. So honestly, I just hope you guys find a resolution. Hopefully this calms down. I definitely hope that this can resolve on its own and you do not even have to like seek a professional. But from what you're telling me, maybe you're gonna have to. But I wish you all the best. I wish your family all the best, and I hope you guys are okay. This story, I read it on my last video, but the clip went away. I don't know where it went. So that kind of creeped me out, because this story does creep me out, and I was like, maybe whatever's over there is saying like, no, you're not telling them what happens in this house. That's like the vibe that I got. Anyways, thank you so much. Thank you for writing in. I appreciate you, and hopefully I get to get an update of your paranormal situation. Hopefully it resolves on its own. But thank you so much for writing in. So now moving on to our next story. Hey girly, I'm not sure when you're gonna do another reading my subscriber ghost stories, but I have so many I could tell. Anyways, when I was younger, I was able to see ghosts. I had went to see my family in California, and the first time there, I had woken around 3:30-ish, and I saw a girl standing next to the lamp around 3 feet away from me. Around 10 minutes later, me and my mom both woke up again. This time, my little sister was laying on the floor. She looked like she was glowing. After that, nothing happened the rest of the time that I was there. When I had gotten back in Oregon, I saw the lady again. I'm pretty sure she got attached or something. I would see her sitting next to my dad or my little sister, standing next to the table while we would eat. I would always ask my mom who she was, but my mom could never see her. One night, I woke up to my older sister screaming and crying, and she told me she saw the lady sitting on my bed. My little sister told me the lady threw my school backpack at her, and when I turned the light on, my backpack was laying on the floor by her bed. After that, we had told my mom called the priest and came to the house to bless it. After that, I would look out to the window. She would be walking outside my house or standing outside my gate. That is terrifying. The fact that she is now outside, she is definitely attached, and that's my question. Why is she attached? Because the priest cleansed the inside, but the lady is still there, just creeping on you guys, literally. Definitely update me if you have any more, if you ever see her. Hopefully not. Don't want you to see her, but if you do, and if you would like to tell me, definitely don't be shy, feel free to. But thank you so much for writing in. It was definitely creepy. Now moving on to the next story. Hello Daisy, my name is Cynthia. I have 2 stories for you today. They didn't happen to me, they happened to my family. Story number 1, El Hombre en Blanco. Story number 1, The Man in White. This took place in Mexico, Guanajuato. My family consists of many uncles and aunts. When they were children, they told me about how they would sleep in one room, 3 girls and 2 boys, in one bed. One night, everyone was about to fall asleep after talking about scary experiences that have happened lately involving Las Cinco Puertas, the 5 doors, a place where La Llorona and other spirits roam. After talking, they were slowly falling asleep. Around 10-11 p.m., a pair of pale, cold, wrinkled hands grabbed onto my uncle's, Mario's, legs and attempted to pull him into the night from a small crack under a door. What? Everyone was so shocked and scared to understand what was happening while they were trying so hard to hold on to my uncle. Once the hands let him go, my uncle's mom heard them crying while the demon was trying to take one of the children. She ran to her husband and told something was wrong with the children. My uncle's dad thought it was some thieves trying to rob them of the little things they had. As my uncle's dad rushed to the kids, he saw a skinny, old man dressed with a long sombrero, a white poncho, and white pants. My uncle tried to shoot at it, but the demon was now running, climbing his way back up the roof and disappearing into the night. They never saw it again. My uncle had bruised marks of 5 long fingers around his legs. They never knew what went down, but they closed off that room and left it untouched to this day. Dang, that must have been intense. I mean, clearly it was intense just by hearing the story, but they locked it up. They said, no, not today, Satan. You're not playing with us. They did it right, locking it up. I wonder what goes down in that room, even though it's locked. You know what I mean? Ooh, got the creeps. But we're not done yet. Let's go with story number 2. Story number 2, las monedas. Story number 2, the coins. This happened in Mexico, Guanajuato. Again, to so many of my family members, but they are too afraid of the aftermath of the deeds they were presented. My uncle Olivo has had many encounters with the paranormal, including having a face-off with the devil. My grandma, his mom, told him to do something, and he was being rude and aggressive over a small chore. His negative energy manifested a big, dark dog with glowing eyes and sharp lion teeth appeared out of nowhere and tried to take him. My grandma prayed so hard while trying her best to not let go of her son. My uncle became super traumatized, and from that day on, he started to become a better person. Too good of a person that one day he woke up from a nightmare where a man was telling him he buried money by a wall on my grandmother's terreno, land. My uncle was too afraid to ever look for the money, but the man in his dream kept appearing, insistent and wanting him to get the money. It came to the point where one night my uncle woke up from a nightmare after the man said he would dig it up himself and hand it to him. And on a nightstand, he saw a skull full of money, waiting patiently for him to take the money. Honestly, who knows what would have happened if he did? Would it have been a good decision or a bad decision? Who knows? Your stories, they take me back to Mexico, especially the last story. I have heard similar stories about the dog with glowing red eyes. Usually people experience the dog with red eyes when they're being bad, when they're being mischievous, or even when they're adults and they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So I don't know, I would not want to see that dog with glowing eyes. I love dogs, so don't mess it up for me, okay? But thank you so much for writing in your stories. I love them. Thank you. So on to the next story. Hey, my name is Anaí. I want to start off by saying I love your videos and your storytelling. Thank you so much, Anaí. I'm so glad you're enjoying the storytelling and my videos. Thank you. But to get on with the story, I'm from Cuba and I have family there. This happened a few years ago when I last visited. I was 11. I usually never stayed the night because of my uncle and his current living situation. Plus, he always gave my parents bad vibes too. But one time I convinced my mom to let me stay the night with my cousins and my grandpa. I remember being so excited, but I didn't know what was gonna happen. So my grandmother, my grandpa's ex-wife, passed away in that house before I was born. One night I stayed there and I was having a regular sleepover with my cousins and my tia, haciendo flan and pastelitos. In other words, they were making desserts. But when it came time to sleep, I couldn't sleep. Every time I would go to sleep, I would get waken up by a feeling of being watched. This happened over and over for at least 2 hours until it was like 3 a.m. I woke up to use the bathroom and I tell my tia I couldn't sleep, and she makes me tea to calm me down, and she sits me down right next to my grandma's altar. One scary thing about me and my grandma is that we share the same birthday and we look alike. The houses separated a little, so they went to the other side of the house, and I was alone in the side of the house where my grandparents' room was, and the living room, aka where I was sleeping, and near where she passed away. All of a sudden, I feel sort of a hug, and these little whispers saying, "Ayúdame, estoy atrapada. Por favor, Anayi, ayúdame." Meaning, what she said is, "Help me, I am trapped. Please, Anayi, help me." After this happened, I felt like if the walls were closing in on me. All of a sudden, everything went black. I felt like I was in this sort of a daydream seeing what she's seeing. I saw how she had an argument with my uncle right before she passed away. Everything went black when he sort of attacked her, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. Everything slowed. My breathing, my heart. I honestly thought I was gonna die. And then I woke up from that dream to my uncle asking me what's wrong. Ever since then, I've never said anything because I don't know if what I saw was real. And if it was, then that means I saw how my grandmother passed away. Mind you, my family always thought her heart and lungs just gave up on her due to old age. I've never looked at my uncle the same way after that. And I've never stayed in that house ever again. Recently, he got locked up in Cuba, and no one knows why. Wow, now it makes sense why your family never got a good vibe from your uncle. I mean, maybe it wasn't known what actually happened, but maybe they had a feeling that he did something to your grandma, and that's sad. But what also I find very interesting is that your uncle was the one that was there when you woke up from that dream state. That was, I don't know, like what a coincidence, you know? But thank you so much for sharing in. That was totally different. So thank you so much, girl. So now moving on to the next story. Hi Daisy, I hope you're feeling well and happy today. Thank you. I hope you feel happy today and every day. I have a big story here, but I know you like big stories, so I hope you enjoy. You know I love the juice. This is a creepy one. Maybe it's not paranormal, maybe it is. I believe it's not, but I'll share it with you. I was adopted by my grandmother since I was born. My mother is absent and my father is missing. Also, I'm an only child. Me and my grandmother never had too much. We had enough to live a happy life, and I was never a demanding child. We lived in a huge home with everything of good quality. Things she brought during her lifetime that I never expected them to be so important now that I don't have them anymore. Our home had 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a living room, a big kitchen, 1 backyard, and 2 front yards. It was very cheap because it was rented in older times. The type of contract was lifelong with the old rent agreement, which was $70 per month. At the time, I was a teen. Of course, the landlord must have been absolutely anxious that my grandmother died to finish the $70 contract and rent the house for its true value, which is $1,000 per month. Even it being an old house, it's restored and in very good location in Lisbon. I think that's how you say it. I was absolutely spoiled and had no idea what real life was. Life for me was study, have fun, and I didn't cook, I didn't clean. If I took my clothes off and left it on the floor to take a bath, they would instantly disappear. Please kindly don't blame me or my grandmother for this. I was too spoiled and she gave me all of her love. I was raised like this and I had no idea of what real life was like. I didn't even take my plate off the table after eating. Not because I was misbehaved and mean. My grandmother took it first so she could kill me with kindness and love. She sounds like such a sweet grandmother. I already know that I will receive a lot of hate for this and that many of you might not understand my story. Me and my grandmother loved each other like nothing else in this world. I was always well behaved, innocent and too good as a kid and as a teen. She was always perfect. She never screamed at me or hit me. We had the best relationship and comprehension for each other that I ever saw in my whole life. Fast forward, she died out of nowhere 2 months after my 18th birthday. I lost her, my true love. I lost my home. I lost everything. I am so sorry for your loss. This is making me sad. Daisy, hold back in those tears. You know Daisy, you know me. I went to live at my uncle's house. He had already had his house full of people. I didn't feel very comfortable there, mostly because I started working 2 jobs. I was very tired and too spoiled to handle them watching TV at night and sitting on the same sofa I was trying to sleep in, and too nice to ask them to leave the living room. I never worked in my life. This was a big shock for me and I didn't even have a place to rest the way I needed to. I started working 8 hours taking care of kids in public school, and I worked 4 hours at McDonald's at night. After a few months, I was able to rent a very small and very cheap apartment. Finally, I could rest. I was always the type of person that dreamed a lot while sleeping. After the great love of my life passed away, I dreamed about her every night. I dreamed that she didn't die and went on vacations, or that it was all a lie. As you might imagine, my life was very hard. Kindly don't blame any one of us, neither me or my grandmother. I only want you to understand the shock I went through, the pain, the solitude of losing my true mother and father so soon. I was very innocent. I didn't know what was dealing with mean adult people, mostly at work. I went through hell at work, and it took me something like 5 years to learn how to deal with that type of people. Thankfully, when I got home, I would dream about my grandmother and that everything was back to normal, that she only went on vacation. My life was hell. I just discovered that I didn't have the equivalence to finish my high school course, and that I would have to study 3 years at night to finish it. Also, it had the Math A discipline, which is the most difficult math class of Portuguese in high school, and I'm terrible at it. However, if I didn't finish high school, I would not get a better job, so I had to do it. Because of quitting my part-time job to study, I starved daily. I would steal bread left over from the kids after they went home and before mean colleagues took the bread out of the trash. The whole money I got was to pay rent and bills. I barely had money to get food. I didn't ask for help because I was ashamed and I thought everyone could do this besides me. I was really dumb, I know, but rest assured that I learned my lesson. I kept dreaming about my grandmother. Now she was mad at me. During half a year, she was always mad at me in my dreams. It was weird. I have no idea what this would mean. Then I started dreaming every night that we were happy and on vacations in our old kitchen. It was very, very comfortable. One day, it finally happened. I had a lucid dream while dreaming about her. It already has been 6 years dreaming about her every night, and I wanted to know why. When I was about to ask her, I would wake up. I was never able to ask her why I kept dreaming about her every night since she passed away. I finally finished school, my life was better, and I was living in a room so I could have money to eat and be healthy. I even had money to go to the gym. I lucid dreamed about my grandmother again. This time I was able to ask her, "Why do I dream about you every time for the last 7 years?" She opened her mouth to start talking with me. I woke up. This was really frustrating. I just wanted to know why. Was this my brain? Was this paranormal? Was her spirit attached to me and she couldn't go to heaven because of me? I just wanted an answer. Time kept going, and with so much work, stress, school, and short-time diseases, I had a burnout. But at that time, I had to take a couple of months out of work. Now, at 25 years old, was the first time I could truly rest since I was a teen. I had fun, I went out, I met my current boyfriend, basically husband, and we decided to live together. I'm so happy for you. My life was better now. Now I had the luck to live with my best friend and love. We shared a home, we lived in rooms. Life was not easy because he was even more poor than me. However, we are good now. Don't worry, we battled a lot to be where we are now. Okay, that made me feel way much better. I'm so glad. But at that time, after the burnout and while I was resting, I finally had the lucid dream I wanted. I finally asked my grandmother, "Why am I always dreaming about you?" She answered the most obvious thing. Let me just drink this tea before I let these tears come out. She answered the most obvious thing ever. Because if you didn't have the love and comfort that I gave you while sleeping, you would become